So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether my screen is visible or not, right?
Sir, it's clear.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yes. Fine, thank you. Yes. So in the last session, just I was discussing, right, why Python, who can learn Python, how it was built, Python real-time applications, what kind of applications we can build by using Python, and which are the companies using Python, and what are the application built by using Python, and reasons why Python is suddenly super popular. So reasons why Python suddenly super popular, and that IDE is supported by Python, PyCharm, PyDev, Spider, Eclipse, Jupyter Node. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to work on all these IDEs in real time. Okay, we use these IDEs, right? So I'll be showing you that how to download and how to install these IDEs and how to work on these IDEs, right? Okay. Python comparison with other programming, I was saying, like I've taken a task and I've written in Java, and the same task I've written in Python with not very less coding, right? Okay. So today just so I'm going to discuss like what is Python Software Foundation. You need to know something about this PSF, right? Python software before we go with the installation process, other things. Python Software Foundation. Python Software Foundation, PSF, right? PSF. So you need to know, okay, it's a non-profit, it is a non-profit organization. Non-profit organization devoted towards Python community, right? Okay. Okay, it was launched in the year, it was launched in the year 2001, right? Almost like 20 years back it was launched. And the main objective or aim of this PSF to faster, so version by version, okay, to faster the development of Python, to faster the development of Python. And in the year 2004, right, PSF, Python Software Foundation, received Computer World Horizon Award, right? Computer World Horizon Award. The cutting edge technology. And the president of this PSF, the personality, nothing but the personality who has developed or who has introduced Python, Guido van Rossum. He is the personality who introduced Python, who developed Python. The same personality, he is the president for this PSF, Guido van Rossum, right? Okay. Headquarters, Delaware, United States. Delaware, USA. Official website, the official website, right? Official website. Official website, python.org. This is the official website of Python, from where we can download Python software, and also we can see the documentation for each and every Python release, right? So even after updating with Python, so you need to be in touch with the documentation of Python for each and every Python release, right? So version to version, what are the changes we see? What are the things that are getting deprecated? The new features that are getting introduced, everything you can check in this python.org website, the official website for Python, from where we can see the documentation, clear documentation for Python. And okay, fine. So this is what Python Software Foundation. So President is Guido van Rossum, and official website. Next, you need to know something about the Python versions, right? Python versions. Python versions. Python 1.x version. Python 1.x version. It was released in the year 1990, right? And Python 2.x. Python 1.x means 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, right? Python 2.x version. It was released in the year 2000, right? Almost like 10 years later, this 2 version was released. Python, the version that we are using currently, that is 3 version, was released in the year 2008, right? And the latest version of Python, latest version that we are using, latest version of Python, like Python 3.10, right? Python 3.10, stable version of Python, stable version, right? Stable version of Python, Python 3.7, Python 3.7, right? Okay, stable version, nothing but mostly used version, right? Okay, previous stable version, previous stable version. Python 2.7 is the mostly used version. So even there are some applications which go with this 2.7. If you are going with the older version, right? Older versions of databases like Oracle 10G. So it supports 2.7 only. From Oracle 11 version onwards, it supports like Python 3 version supports. Okay. So if you're good, okay, latest version is 3.10, stable version is 3.7, mostly used version, right? Python installation, right? Next, like Python installation. Python installation, right? So how to download and how to install Python, right? So just first, before I go, right, first I'll show you that everything from the scratch. So let me uninstall Python first. I'm uninstalling Python. So Python is going to provide different software for different environments, right? For Windows, separate software, for Linux, for Mac OS. So for Windows, separate software, for Linux, for Mac OS. So even for Windows, for 32-bit, it is providing separate software. For 64-bit, it provides separate software. How will you check whether your Windows is a 32-bit or 64-bit, right? So just go to, let this in uninstallation go. Fine. Just go to your desktop, right click on your PC and just say, okay, right click on your PC, right click and say properties. So here you can see, right, system type 64-bit operating system. 64-bit operating system, right? Okay. If it is 32-bit, you are supposed to download 62, that is 32-bit. If it is 64-bit, you need to download 64-bit. Depending upon your type of OS, uninstallation is successful, close it, right? Now, how to downloading Python and installing it, right? So just what is the official website of Python, right? Official website. www.python.org, right? Python.org. This is the official website from where we can download Python, right? We can download the documentation and also we can check, right? Documentation for Python. Okay. Documentation, you can check downloads. You can go for downloads, all releases, right? Downloads, all releases. Okay. If you can scroll down, you can see active Python releases. And still, if you scroll down, right, looking for a specific release, looking for a specific release. So December 6, 2021, just 5 days back, right? 3.10.1 version is released. 3.10.1. Okay. So you can see all the Python versions from the last 20 years. From the last 20 years, you can see all the Python versions. All the Python versions from the last 20 years. 2.0.1, June 22, 2001, right? So let us download that latest version, December 6 to 3.10.1, right? 3.10.1, we can just click it, 3.10.1, and scroll down. You can see the files, right? For all that Windows, Mac OS. For Mac OS, you can see. For Linux, already you can see Python as a inbuilt, right? No need of any separate installation, right? And here Windows 64-bit, Windows 32-bit, Windows 64-bit and Windows 32-bit, we can check, right? Okay. If it is Windows 64-bit, you can just check Windows 64-bit. You can click 32, you can select 32. So I'm just selecting Windows 64, just 27 MB of size. What is the software size? So 27 MB of size. So I said we have got 89,300 inbuilt modules, right? All the modules you are not going to see along with this Python software. If you see, if you observe all those 89,300 modules, if they are included in this Python software, the software size won't be like 27 MB. It will be in GB of size, right? Okay. So only the commonly used modules you are going to get along with this Python software, commonly used modules, not all the modules, commonly used ones. Okay, but if you want to, but data science related modules, data science related modules, database related modules, big data related modules, all those you are not going to see along with this Python software. We separately, we need to download and install them later, right? We need to download and install them using a component called pip. Later I'll be demonstrating about those things, how to download and how to install those things, right? Okay, so download is finished, right? Download is finished. Okay, just to go to the downloads folder and you can click, otherwise you can just click this, right? Your Python window is going to be open like this. A window gets open, right? Fine. So immediately don't go for the installation. Bottom you can see, right? Add Python 3.10 to path. Add Python 3.10 to path. Select it. Select it and just to go for customize installation. So I said you are going to get documentation pip. Pip is a component using which we can install any other module which is not available in the Python software. Later I'll be demonstrating how to install and how to download the modules. Ideally integrated development environment test suite. So here nothing to select in this, just to say next. Here also you are nothing to select, but the installation location, what is that installation, where you want to install Python. So by default, if you observe, it is installing where C, users, Dell, app data, local, programs, Python, Python 3.10. Somewhere in some subdirectories it is getting installed, right? Somewhere in some subdirectories. Tomorrow, if you want to locate Python, right, it is very difficult where in some subdirectories it is getting installed, right? So instead of this in some subdirectories, just install Python. So I'm removing all this big path, right? I'm removing all this big path and just installing Python in the C drive. Just install Python in C drive. Remove all that big path. Somewhere it is getting installed in some subdirectories. So Python 3.10 means what? 3.10. So just to say install, just to say install. It hardly takes 1 minute for installing Python. Okay, later once it gets installed, let us check whether it is properly installed or not, right? Yeah, it takes only 1 minute for installing. Okay. Setup was successful, right? Setup was successful. Just close it. Now, if you want to check whether your Python is properly installed or not, right? Just at the bottom in the search panel, just type a cmd and go to this command prompt and type Python here. If you type Python here, it will display the Python version that we have installed, right? And also the interpreter should be opened. Python 3.10.1. This is the version that we have installed, and the interpreter should be open, right? Now, any valid Python statement you can type and you can check. You can interact with it statement by statement. Right. Any valid Python statement. 4 plus 5. It gives the response. 7 into 4, right? It gives x value is 10, y as 5. Just say what is the x value? What is that y value? What is x plus y value? X minus y value. So this is statement by statement. You can interact with Python. We say it as interactive mode, which you cannot see in other programming languages, right? X plus 4, x minus 3, x into 4. Fine. X to the power of 3. Power symbol means double star. Single star means multiplication, right? X equal to hello. Printing x into 3, printing hello for 3 times, x into 5, printing hello for. In this way, any valid Python statements you can type and you can interact with it, right? If you want to come out of this, say quit. Okay, your Python is working, it's properly installed, right? Now, coming back. And if you want to install Python, if you want in the Linux environment, okay. If your Linux is an older version, even the Python also will be the older version. If you want the latest version of Python, so you need to do with the super user sudo apt-get install, right? Get install. Python 3.9 or 3.10, right? 3.9 or 3.10. 3.10 apt-get install Python 3.10. It installs Python, right? This command will install Python within the Linux environment, right? You can install Python within your Windows, Linux, Mac OS, even if you've got a smartphone, right? Within the smartphone also, you can install Python and you can type your statements and execute the Python statements in your smartphone. Go to Play Store and just say Python IDE. Python IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So you see many Python IDEs. You can select any one, download, install, and you can type your statements and execute your Python statements on it, right? Within the smartphone also. And next, Python install Python execution modes. Python execution modes. Two modes of execution, right? Two modes of execution. Interactive mode and batch mode. Interactive mode, batch mode, two modes, right? Second is what? Batch mode. Interactive mode here, just now I was talking, right? Interactive mode here, we are typing statements and interacting statement by statement. User can easily interact with Python statement. Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter. Okay, we directly type Python statements on the interpreter, and the user can easily interact. Interact with Python statement by statement. Okay. What is the advantage you are going to see in the interactive mode? For example, if you doesn't know about any particular functionalities of Python, okay, you can just type in check, right, to test the functionalities. To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python, right? And to learn Python. To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. So for the beginners and learners, this interactive mode works better. You can just type any statement and you can check the result, what output it provides, right? And for developing code, for testing the functionalities of Python, this interactive mode works better. So, but for developing these applications, Python applications, we will never go for interactive mode. For that, we go for batch mode. Here, we write a batch of statements, or we write set of statements or batch of statements within the editors or IDEs, within the editors or IDEs, integrated development environment, within the editors or IDEs, and save it by using .py extension, and save it by using .py extension, right? We write set of statements within the editors or IDEs and save it by using .py extension, and later submit it to Python. Okay, understood, right? Here, just like other programmings, we write a batch of statements, set of statements within the editors or IDEs and save it by using .py extension and later submit to Python. Okay, so today I discussed like how we can write this Python, how to develop Python applications within the editors, right? Okay, what are the various editors where we can write the Python code? What are the various editors where we can write the Python code? Within the notepad, you can write Python code and just create a Python file, right? Within the edit plus, in the case of Linux, right? Within the VI editor, nano editor, right? Within the VI nano editor. Okay. Within the notepad, within the edit plus, within the VI and nano, within the Linux environment, you can write this Python code and create a .py file and later submit to Python. And what are the various IDEs, integrated development environment? In real time, we use this IDEs. So what are the various IDEs supported by Python? Okay, like PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans. So I'm going to show you like Anaconda distributions like Jupyter Notebook, Spider IDE. Okay, already we have seen Spider, right? Next, Atom IDE, VS Code, right? These are the various editors where we can, IDEs where we can write the Python code and execute, right? I'm going to show you how to step by step, how to download, how to install, and how to work within this, right? Okay. various editors. So first, developing Python applications within the, so these are the various editors, various IDs. So mostly used one, PyCharm is the mostly used for Python. So you may ask, why these many IDs for Python? Why not one or two? Because Python is used for different environments, right? For different environments, different IDs are preferred. For example, for data science, for plotting, visualizations, data analysis, generating reports, graphs, right? Jupyter Notebook is mostly preferred, and Spider also mostly preferred, right? For data science. For big data environment, Spider is mostly preferred, Jupyter Notebook preferred, right? For typical web applications, PyCharm is mostly preferred, Atom is preferred, VS Code is preferred, right? So in this way, from environment to environment, different IDs can be used. So I'm going to give the knowledge, and I'm going to show you that how to work with all these IDs. Okay. Developing Python applications. See this today like that. Developing Python application within editor. Developing a Python application within editor, right? Within editor. Example like Notepad. So developing a Python application within the editor like Notepad, right? Open a Notepad file. You can open a Notepad and type the following Python statements. See, as of now, we didn't discuss anything about Python, right? So to make you understand, just I'll take two numbers, two values, and I want to perform some kind of arithmetic operations, right? So just I'm taking two values, x as 10, y as 20. So just I want to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, x plus y, x minus y, right? Print x into y, right? Print x by y, right? X by y. X plus y, x minus y, x into y, and x by y, right? So just I'll copy these statements to a separate file. Okay. To a separate notepad file, right? Okay. Save it, file, save. So say I created a separate folder yesterday, right? Python 9 p.m. So just it's within the C drive. Python 9 p.m. right? So just save it as sample1.py, sample1.py, right? Okay. Okay. So just I'm writing here, save as sample.py. What? How did you save? Sample. Save it as sample1.py. 1 second. Save as sample1.py, right? Okay. Now submit this file to Python. Now submit this file to Python. So just what I did, just I opened a notepad file, I written some Python statements, some 6 lines, right? This is, and save it as sample.py and submit to Python as okay. Now open command prompt at the bottom search panel, just type cmd and go to this command prompt and just type Python. Don't say enter. If you enter, it will go to the interactive mode. I doesn't want to work with interactive mode. I want to work in batch mode. Same is that path where your file is within the C drive. Python 9 p.m. is that folder, 9 p.m. within that sample, right? Sample or sample1. Sample.py, right? What is that folder? Let me check. Sample or sample1, right? Within the C drive, Python 9 p.m, right? Check it, Python 9 p.m. What is that? Sample1, right? Sample1.py. Give that entire path. Python 9 p.m. sample1.py, right? Sample1.py. Enter. You will get 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. So just Python you type and give the path where your file is available, right? Within the C drive, Python 9 p.m. sample1. So the file name, in which folder, in which drive it's available, the entire path is specified to Python. Okay. So understood, right? Within a notepad, write some statements, save it as sample.py and submit to Python. But here, what is your observation? But here, we are writing the code. We are writing the code at one place. One place means it within the notepad you are writing, right? And executing at the other place and executing at the other place. But to write and execute, at the same place, to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, right? Which comes along with Python installation, which comes along with to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can work interactive and batch mode, right? Both interactive and batch mode. So here we're writing the code at one place, notepad, and executing at the other place, right? Executing at the other place means command prompt. See, command prompt. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can work with both interactive and batch mode, right? Okay. So let me show you how to open this IDLE and where we can write and execute at the same place instead of writing in the notepad and executing at the command prompt, right? So whenever we install Python, right? Here you can go to the start programs. So here you can check where your Python is available here. So Python 3.10, you can install multiple versions of Python also. 3.9 is available, 3.10 is available. If 3.11 comes, that also I can install, right? Multiple versions of Python can be installed. Click this 3.10. What is the first thing you see here? IDLE, right? Click it. Python shell will be opened in this manner. Python shell got opened, right? In interactive mode. If you want, you can interact 4 plus 5. 5 into 7, right? So in this way, any valid Python statements you can type and you can check, right? Any valid Python statements you can type and check. So if you want to work with batch mode, file, new file, and write your code here. X as 10, Y as 5, print X plus 5, print X minus 5, print X into Y, some kind of arithmetic operations. Okay, here itself we can write, here itself we can execute the code, right? X into Y. Save it. So if you want to save this, you can say file save or Control S. So within the C drive, I created a separate folder for this batch, Python 9 p.m. sample2.py, right? run module, you can say 10 plus 5, 10 minus 5, 10 into 5, right? Once again, you can check and write this code here and you can say run modular. F5 is the shortcut. So once again, I show you, go to the start programs, check where your Python is available here. Python 3.10, click ideally the first thing, Python shell will be opened. Within this Python shell, if you want to work with the batch mode, say file, new file. You can write your code here and you can execute run module, right? Okay. Any query here, anyone? Have you got any query up to here, right? How to download and how to install Python and execution modes, right? How to open this ideally, right? So later I discuss about IDEs also, how to work with the different types of IDEs of Python, how we can download, how to install those IDEs, right? Okay. Next, like just entering into the basics of Python, like Python data types, right? Python data types. See, for example, every organization use case has got data and operations, has got data and operations. Yes, Piyush Singh, you can use any of these IDs, right? Later I discuss about those IDs like PyCharm ID, Spider ID, Anaconda, Jupyter Notebook, Eclipse ID, right? VS Code, Atom ID, right? All those IDs I'll be discussing later, right? We can go with that IDs also. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using. So later we discuss about these functions, but our discussion is like data types or variables. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Data by using data types or variables, operations using functions. Observe this diagram once. Yes. If you take the example of any bank, any organization like bank, I'm taking the example of a bank, right? Bank consisting of customers and employees. Customers has got data and operations. Customers has got what? Data and operations. Data represented using data. Okay, data like the customer name. Ajay. Account number 309,876. Customer name, account number, balance 90,000, branch Hyderabad. Okay, so this data represented using data types are variables. Operations like withdraw operation, deposit operation, transfer operation, all these operations are represented using functions. Operations represented using functions. Data using data types are variables. Employees. Employee data and employee operations, right? Employee data and employee operations. Employee data like employee ID, employee name, salary, designation, manager, right? So this entire data represented using data types are variables. Data types are variables, right? Okay. Operations like calculating tax, calculating like HRA, calculating like net sal, all this, right? Using functions. Okay, fine. So every organization has got data and operations, customers and employees, like data and operations. Data using data types are variables, operations using functions. Okay. Data using data types are variables, operations using functions. So our discussion is like data types are variables, right? Fine. Okay. If you take C or C++ or Java or Python, any programming language, if you're taking, right, they represents data, using data types. Using data types are variables. On that data, you are going to perform operations. On that data, you are going to perform operations using functions. Using functions, right? Okay. Any programming language representing data using data types or variables, operations using functions. Fine. So if I talk about this programming language like C or C++ or Java and comparing with Python, right? Python supports dynamic data types. Python supports dynamic data types. Okay. Python supports dynamic data types. Like if you talk about another programming language, if you want to create a variable X, compulsory we need to say that int X equal to 10. Float Y equal to 4.5. String Z equal to hello, right? Compulsory, this data type defining compulsory, right? For other programming languages, data type defining is compulsory. But in Python, No need to define the data type. Directly I can say X as 10, I can say like Y as 4.5, Z as hello, right? No need to define the data types for Python. So here what kind of variable? X is means it is integer variable based on the data type defining. You are saying it is integer. Y is float, Z is string. But what kind of variable X is here? What kind of variable X is? What kind of variable X is means what value you are assigning to X based on the value assigned. So the variable is going to get created dynamically here in Python. So we have got a function, type of X. Type of X is integer. Why it is integer? Because you have assigned an integer value. Based on the value assigned only, the variable gets created. If you're assigning a float value, type of Y is what type? Float type. Why it is float? You have assigned a float value. That's why float variable Y is going to get created at runtime. Type of Z is what type? String type. Why it is string? You have assigned a string value, so it is string type. Type of X is int, type of Y is float, type of Z is string, right? Okay. Based upon what value you are assigning, based on the value assigned, the variables are going to get created. Okay, fine. Now, so just I'll take 5 to 10 minutes more. So just 1 second. So just defining the variables in Python. Just observe this. I'll take 5 to 10 minutes. Defining variables in Python. So these are important. So I'm going to discuss 4 cases here. You can just make a note parallelly also, right? Case 1. These are important. So, and I want response from you guys, either from through voice or through chat panel. Keep responding, right? If I say like X equal to 10, what happens internally? X equal to 10, if you are saying, right? Internally, one object with value 10 gets created. It's going to occupy some physical memory location address. It is going to have some address, right? The address is written to X. Generally, what X is storing, X equal to 10, if you are saying what X stores, don't say that X is storing the 10. X stores the address. So here 3 things you need to understand. If I say like print X, right? It goes to that address and prints the content at that address. Means prints the content at that address. Prints the content at that address, right? What is the content at that address? 10. Print ID of X. Prints the address. Prints the address. Prints the content at that address. Okay. So print X means goes to that address and prints the content. ID of X means prints the address of X. What is the address of X? Type of X. Type of X. You can make a note of these things parallelly, right? Prints the data type of X. I'm going to discuss 4 cases here. The 4 cases I'll show you practically in the next session, right? Prints the data type of X. What type? Integer type, right? Okay. Print X prints the content. ID of X prints the address. Print X means prints the content. ID of X prints the address. Type of X prints the data type of X, right? This is fine. Case 1. Now this observe this case 2. Now I want response from everyone. Like X value is 10, y is 20. How many objects gets created? Try to answer. How many objects gets created internally? For 10, one address. Two objects gets created, right? Y equal to 10, y equal to 20. Yes. Two objects. 104080, right? Now everyone try to answer, right? Print x, what is that value it prints? Everyone, I want responses from print x. What is that? 10, right? Goes to the address and prints the content at the address. ID of x.
103070.
103070. Type of x.
Integer.
Integer, because you have assigned the integer value, right? Okay. Now similarly print y, right? Print y. What is the value it prints? 20. ID of y, what is the value? 10408, right? Okay. Type of y. See, I'm saying like throughout the course, I want the sessions to be interactive, right? I'll keep on typing or I keep on discussing it. You are supposed to respond, right? Whether your answers are correct or wrong, you should keep on responding. Interactive session. Type of y. Okay, what is the type? Integer. Means understood, right? Here case two different variables with the two different values. Then two different objects gets created with two different addresses, right? Two different variables with two different values, then two different objects gets created with two different addresses. Any query in this? Anyone?
No.
Okay, now case 3, based on this observation, we will go to this case 3, right? Second. Okay. Case 3. X value 10, y is 10. Now I want the responses from everyone. Try to respond, everyone. How many objects gets created here?
2.
Everyone try to respond, right? Through voice or through, everyone try to respond and through voice or through short panel. Yes. How many objects?
2.
Two objects.
Here observe carefully, everyone. Here only one object gets created. One object gets created with value 10 with only one address. First, this is fine, right? X equal to 10, one object gets created with value 10. It's going to have it. Now y equal to 10, right? Before creating object for 10, first it checks any object with value 10 is already available in the memory or not. If available, the same address will be given to y. The same address will be given to y. X is 10, y is 10. Okay, fine. So before creating object for y, it checks whether any object with value 10 is already available. If you are already available, the same address given. X is 10, y is 10, z is 10. Don't think like three objects with value 10 gets created. Only one object gets created and its address is given to x, y, and z, right?
Yes.
If x is 10, y is 20, z is 30, how many objects gets created?
Only one of
X value is 10, y is 20, z is 30.
3.
How many? Three objects, right?
one address.
Yeah,
Okay.
three of
If x is 10, y is 20, z is 30, three objects gets created with three different addresses. But if the values are same, 10, 10, 10, only one object and its address is okay, and its address is given to all those, right? Okay. Okay, understood, right, everyone? So here x, y, and z, all the three variables going to share the same content 10 and going to share the same address, right? So print x if I say, or if I say like print y if I say, or print z if I say, the value is 10 only. This address is also same. Print id of x, print id of y, and print id of z, right? The address is id of z 103070, right? Okay, fine. We have got a case for also, that the case for it takes a little bit time. So hope you understood these cases, right? Case 1, 2, and 3. So in the next session, I'll be discussing all the 4 cases. I'll brief you and I'll show you practically what happens internally whenever you are defining some variables in Python, right? So all these cases I'll be discussing. Okay, just I showed you. Okay, fine. So data types and variables. So today just I was discussing about Python Software Foundation, a non-profit organization devoted towards Python, and the Python versions, Python installations, Python execution modes. Just introduction to this Python data type, right? So in brief, in depth. So for the next 4 or 5 days, I'll be discussing on this data types, right? Fundamental types of Python. So okay, fine. So the next session will be on Monday. Tomorrow, Sunday, there is no class. The next session will be on Monday, same time, and you can use the same link. Everyone can attend the session one. Okay, so Monday and Tuesday also you can attend the sessions to see more on this Python, how the training levels goes, right? But one thing what I'm expecting from Kishore Kumar, be in mute. Okay. Okay. Fine. So understood, right? Any queries in this? So next class will be on Monday, same time with the same link. So recordings, okay. You'll be getting the recordings, right? Everybody will be getting the recordings of all this. Meanwhile, for the first 3 or 4 sessions, you can just see in the, you can watch the YouTube, like Durgasoft YouTube. Okay, by, so Python by, just say by Vijay Sundar Sagar or Sagar. You can just say Vijay Sundar or by Sagar, right? Okay. So you'll be getting that soft copy also, right? Once you get enrolled, once you people got enrolled, once you got registered, right? By paying that, okay, course fee. And also it was said, right? It's an offer batch for this, okay, but later this is an offer batch that the course fee is just 5K, 5,000. So nearly like 75 to 80 hours of this, okay, like 2.5 months we'll be discussing in brief about these various concepts. I said I'll be discussing advanced modules and advanced concepts, right? Like various advanced Python database connections, like models related to like plottings and visualizations, generating different types of graphs, working with Excel workbook, data science related modules like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and some models related to operating systems, some models related to data science, some models related to databases, some models related to graphics, some related to regular expressions, some related to file handling, and how to create our own modules in Python. Everything I'm going to brief you, right? You'll be getting the command in this Python course. Fine. Fine. Any other queries, right? Any more queries you have got? Anaconda Jupyter, right? Anaconda Jupyter notebook. Yes. See how to work with the IDs. I'll be discussing, right? I'll be discussing once we are done with little bit of technical content. I'll be showing you how to work with the various IDs of Python. In real time, we use these IDs like Anaconda distributions, Anaconda like Jupyter notebook, PyCharm, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Atom, VS Code. All these IDs I'll be showing you one by one. So whether you go tomorrow, you go to any domain or any environment, right? You will be having idea about all these IDs, right? I'll be showing you the download process step by step, how to download and how to install this, right? So everyone, you can just download this Python. You can just, okay, fine. So this, it will be like 80 hours of course, right? And you will be getting nearly 80 videos for this. So every session is video recorded and you will be getting the clear notes of it, right? Fine. So everyone, you can attend the session on Monday. So more discussion on this, right? So any other queries? So Django, right? Web applications creations with Django. So that is separate. It's not included in this package, right? Okay. So we'll have separate classes for that Django, right? Later, after 15-20 days of this Python, even if people, I'll be running multiple Django batches. And just to go parallelly also after 15-20 days of completion of this, right? Fine.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, this is a total 3 months duration, sir.
So it takes like 2.5 months, right? Most 2.5 months.
2.5 months, sir.
Yes.
So including core and advanced, sir.
So I have divided this course into 3 parts: Python core, Python advanced, and application oriented modules, right?
Like that. Okay.
So
After 20 days, along this course, you will run complete Django module also, sir.
already for the previous batches, all the other batches, right? Anybody, if you want, you can go parallelly. Otherwise, after completion of this also, you can go after completing this. That is your choice. Parallelly also, you can go. You can understand. So in Django, web applications creations, like how to create a web page using this. First, I'll be discussing about the technologies like HTML, CSS, Bootstrap.
I mean, sorry for interruption. I mean, front-end technologies, all you will discuss, sir.
Yes, I'll be discussing. I'll be giving the knowledge on those things.
Okay. And one small, sir, suppose before going to start a Django, can I go for that front-end technologies, some learning, some YouTube channels? It will be helpful, no, sir?
Yeah, you need to. Even anyhow, I'll be giving some, I'll be discussing those things before we go with the Django. Why? Because all of them won't be having idea on those, right? I'll be briefing about those. And even in this course, in this Python also, I'll be just discussing SQL concepts also. How
SQL.
Python connecting with database, right? So I'm saying like the number of hours goes to 80 to 100 hours, right? The course duration of this Python, okay? So sometimes if you are going late, means if I'm running out of days, I'll be taking some bigger sessions. So I'll be intimating the students well in advance, means on Saturdays sometimes. Fine.
Sir, today you are running a demo class, first or second one, sir, this is?
So if, so if anyone who have missed that session, right, demo session, so you'll be getting the videos, all the videos, right? So to whatever mail IDs, okay, or you can check in this YouTube, you will be getting that videos of, otherwise
your previous classes.
Yes, previous session, right? So this is today that we have entered into a little bit of technicals. We have discussed like installations, those things. Previously I've discussed like what are the applications where Python can be used, okay, how it was built, right?
Okay.
Sir, and classes were supposed to be from 9.
So just we had only 2 sessions before this, right?
Yeah.
We had only 2 sessions with that. We can go to that. Otherwise, you will be getting that videos. Everyone, you will be getting the videos. So the video link will be forwarded to you. You can check that links, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
The classes timing would be 9 or 8.
Yeah, once again, I'm saying, right? So for first few days, it will be at 8 p.m. The timings of this batch is 9 o'clock. It starts 9 to 10, right?
So when will that start? At 9 p.m.
so
onwards?
so like next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 3 or 4 days it goes at 8 p.m. Later it changes to 9 p.m. right?
So 9 to 10 p.m. sir, actual
10
timings.
Yes, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, right?
Okay, sir. Super.
So actually there was a request made by most of the students, right, for the job holders and other things,
Hmm.
even who are the college students, right? 9 o'clock is the better timing. So only the
Yes, sir.
sessions, demo sessions goes like next Monday, Tuesday also you can attend the sessions, right? The free sessions to see the level of the trainings. Later it goes at 9 to 9 o'clock, 9 to 10, right?
Okay, sir. Obviously, sir. Yes.
Yeah, you'll be getting this video links, right, to your mail. What are the registered mail IDs? So what the mail IDs, whatever you are providing, right?
Hmm.
To that mail IDs, you'll be getting the link, video links. You can just check those things, right? Fine.
Okay.
So next class will be on Monday, same 8 p.m., right? 8 o'clock. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So I'm stopping here. We are running out of time. Okay. Still, if you have got queries, you can ask me on Monday also. The free sessions Monday, Tuesday also you can attend. Okay. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So I'm stopping here and thank you for your time. Thank you all. Fine.